Hey everyone, today I want to share with you a story that's filled with tension and raw emotion. At Huan's house, a group of ruthless strangers suddenly appears, threatening not only Jay and his daughter Maya, but also bringing chaos and fear into this family's life. But what happens when Tuvi uncovers the shocking truth that her own husband is behind all these threats? What will she do? The pain, the anger, and the feeling of helplessness will push her to make some of the toughest decisions of her life. Join me as we dive into every intense moment and step in this journey of seeking peace amidst the storm. I hope you'll experience the highs and emotions of this story as you follow along. On a scorching summer afternoon, a soft breeze rustles through the leaves, carrying the heat of the sun that's blazing overhead. Jay and Maya, two simple souls, find joy in the little moments life has to offer. Jay sits off to the side, diligently splitting bamboo to repair their old house, his thin back glistening with sweat under the unforgiving sun. Meanwhile, Maya sits quietly next to BB, the dog, her innocent eyes focused on the pages of a book. The peaceful scene feels like a living painting, a reflection of the deep bond between them, full of love and endless care. Jay turns to Maya, his gaze warm yet playful. "Are you teaching BB?" he asks, the question light as the summer breeze. It's not just a casual inquiry, but a reminder of the love he has for the little girl. Sunlight spills over Jay's shoulders, highlighting the sweat trickling down his face. His old shirt soaks through, but his heart is filled with unconditional love for Maya. He carefully carves each piece of bamboo, smoothing the edges with precision, as though shaping a future for Maya. Though he says little, his actions speak volumes. The love he feels for her is a flame that will never fade. "You're doing great, Maya. Tomorrow, I'll make you a beautiful study desk," he says softly, encouraging her to keep up the hard work. Maya looks up at him with bright eyes and smiles. "Thank you, Uncle Jay." A small, simple thank you, but it feels like a wave of warmth that eases all his weariness. Those words, though short, are filled with so much affection that all the struggles and hardships in life seem to melt away, leaving behind a deep, quiet joy in Jay's heart. Under the scorching 40-degree heat, Jay and Maya's voices echo through the small house. Every word, every sentence, is like a ray of sunshine piercing through the haze, warming the entire space. Jay looks at Maya, his eyes reflecting deep thoughts. "Do you want to go to school with your friends?" he asks gently, his voice carrying a quiet hope. He stares off into the distance, as if imagining a future where this little family might return to the north, to a place with Huan and Maya, a place filled with love and peace. But it's just a dream, a quiet hope in his heart, one he hasn't dared to voice. He hasn't yet told Maya about this wish, afraid it might worry her, afraid that his dreams might feel too distant. Still, deep down, he hopes that one day this little family will come together and return to the place he's always longed for, a place filled with love and happiness. The calm of the house was suddenly shattered by heavy, relentless footsteps. Jay and Maya were sitting together, enjoying their time, when the sound of the window being violently struck caught their attention. A group of strangers stormed into the yard, their cold, menacing eyes and purposeful strides radiating nothing but threat. Their emotionless faces gave no hint of the cruelty they were about to bring. Maya froze, her eyes wide with fear, and looked up at Jay. Without a moment's hesitation, Jay pulled her into his arms, shielding her from the terrifying reality unfolding. "Who are you? What do you want with my house?" Jay's voice roared, tinged with concern, but laced with a calm determination. He had to protect Maya. There was no room for fear. One of the strangers stepped forward, eyes piercing through Jay like a blade. His harsh voice cut through the tension. "Search thoroughly. That Tuvi is hiding here. Find her." Jay stood still, his mind racing. A wave of dread washed over him, but he quickly regained control. "I don't know anyone named Tuvi," Jay said firmly, trying to maintain composure. "You've got the wrong house." Maya trembled in his arms, clutching him tighter, as though to hide from the storm of threats. But the strangers didn't back off. Their voices grew louder, more violent. "Where is Tuvi? Where are you hiding her?" Another voice barked, full of accusation. In the face of their relentless taunts, Jay kept his composure. Standing tall, he refused to let fear take hold. "If you touch anything, I'll call the police," he shouted, his eyes hard with defiance. No one was going to harm his family. No one would touch Maya. One of the men approached with a photo in hand, holding it up with a sneer. Never heard of Tuvi? This is her picture. You're hiding her, aren't you? Jay glanced at the photo, then locked eyes with the man, his voice unwavering. I don't know her. Don't try to force me into something I'm not guilty of. Each word came out with a resolve that left no room for doubt. The strangers continued to ransack the house, but found nothing. Frustrated, they turned toward Jay, their threats still hanging in the air. We'll be back. Don't think this is over. Their words sliced through the tension, but Jay stood unfazed. He stared them down, his gaze sharp. Get out. If you come back, I'll call the police. Reluctantly, the intruders left. Jay watched them go, his resolve never wavering. As the gate closed behind them, he turned to Maya, his expression softening. Are you okay, Maya? He asked gently, his voice like a cool breeze trying to calm the storm within her. They were bad people, but we'll stay far away from them. Maya looked up, her fear still evident in her eyes, but she nodded, as though silently promising that she would always be safe with Jay by her side. Jay gave her a reassuring pat on the back, then turned his gaze to the darkening world outside their little home. But one thing was crystal clear in his heart. He would protect Maya and their home at all costs, no matter what challenges lay ahead. From a distant corner of the house, Tuvi quietly watched everything unfold. Her eyes blurred with tears threatening to spill, but her heart was weighed down by an overwhelming sense of fear. She could hear the shouts and threats of the strangers echoing in the air, all aimed at Jay. She wanted to rush out to help, but she couldn't move. The fear, the shame of the mistake she had made, froze her in place. I've already dragged Huan and Jay into this. I should leave, she whispered to herself, her heart heavy with pain and uncertainty. When the intruders finally left, the lingering tension and fear still hung thick in the air. Tuvi entered the house, trying to act as though nothing had happened. She sat down in a quiet corner and repeated to herself, I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. But inside, her heart screamed in agony with every beat. Meanwhile, Jay stood, his gaze sweeping across the house, filled with concern and deep thought. He sighed heavily, then softly muttered, Those thugs. This place might be too dangerous for Huan and Maya. He shook his head, his worry growing. I think I need to tell Huan to leave soon. The unease in his chest only grew stronger. He loved Huan, loved Maya, and he couldn't bear the thought of them facing any more danger. Tuvi returned to the house in a quiet, heavy silence. She found Jay still at work, his steady saw cuts breaking the stillness of the afternoon. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over everything, as beads of sweat traced down Jay's face. Yet his hands never stopped moving, tirelessly working over the bamboo. Watching him, Tuvi felt a weight settle in her chest. She stepped closer, softly calling out, Jay, take a break for a moment. Jay paused, looking up at her with a gentle yet concerned gaze. They sat together in the open space, the only sound the rhythmic cadence of their breathing. Tuvi was silent for a long time, then finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't want to be a burden to you and Huan anymore. I think it's time for me to leave. Jay looked at her in surprise, his heart tightening at the thought. Why would you want to go? It's dangerous out there. You can't leave now. Tuvi lowered her gaze, her voice as soft as a breeze. I want to go back to my family. There are people there who care about me. I can't stay here anymore. Jay didn't know what to say. He understood her pain, but he didn't want her to face the dangers outside alone. After a long silence, he gently replied, Well, maybe you should rest in your room for now. We'll figure things out when Huan gets back. He stared at her for a moment, a heavy feeling swelling within him. A part of him wanted to tell her what had happened earlier, that her husband had come looking for her, bringing trouble with him. But he couldn't bring himself to add to her pain. So, he stayed silent. The sound of the saw filled the room again as Jay returned to his task, carefully cutting the bamboo to create walls for their small house. His hands moved swiftly, though exhaustion tugged at him. Yet his heart remained resolute. Suddenly, Maya approached, her eyes filled with concern. "Uncle Jay, are you tired?" she asked, then added, "I want to go play by the stream." Looking at the heat radiating from the sun, Jay saw the sweat forming on Maya's forehead. He scooped her up, gently smiling. "Let's go to the stream for a bit." Hand in hand, they walked down the worn dirt path, leaving the small house behind. The sound of the stream bubbling nearby was like a soft whisper, soothing the heavy air of summer. Maya laughed and ran ahead, her joy echoing in the cool space. And for a moment, Jay felt a lightness in his heart, a brief escape from all the worry and tension. As they played, a voice called out from a distance, Huon's voice searching for Maya. "Maya, where are you?" Jay turned to see Huon standing at the doorway, her expression filled with concern. Maya quickly ran to Jay, grabbing his hand, and together they made their way back to the house. Despite the long, tiring day filled with worry, in that moment, Jay felt a deep sense of peace as he saw Huon return and their little family reunited. The world seemed to pause for a heartbeat, as if giving them a chance to take a breath and move forward together, no matter what challenges lay ahead.